Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your skipper at Home Business TV.
Hey, I'm Lynn, your co-host.
Let's secure, foresee, and get underway. To win in business, you also need to win in life.
Today's podcast guest, Kelley Earnhardt Miller, is one of the most prominent businesswomen in NASCAR today.
Kelley Earnhardt Miller has written a book, Drive, 9 Lessons to Win in Business and in Life.
As co-owner of JR Motorsports, Kelley knows what hard work, dedication, and thriving in a man's world looks like.
Born into racing royalty, Kelley learned how to stand on her own merit to keep up with the family legacy.
She shares these hard-earned lessons in her new book with advice that will help home-based entrepreneurs thrive.
So hello, Kelley Earnhardt Miller. Welcome to the Home Business Podcast. Hello.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Hi.
So you're calling from the heart of NASCAR country in North Carolina?
Yep, they call Mooresville, which is where we are located, Race City, USA. So that's where I'm calling from. Our office is here at Junior Motorsports, right in the heart of Mooresville.
Yeah, I was glad to see NASCAR finally get started up with one race, and looks like it's coming back now.
Yeah, we've been at it for a couple of weeks and squeezing a lot of races into some midweek stuff and some weekend races as well. But still without fans, which feels a little weird. But nonetheless, our crews are back to work and we're happy to be back together and doing what we all know and love.
Just going to take a little bit more drive. So let's learn a little bit about that book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's show it off to the listeners.
Oh, yeah, please. Let's see the book cover.
Yeah. Right. So really excited about the book. It's, a crazy time to be releasing a book, but I've been out in the marketplace now since the 1st of April. Lots of different dynamics going on in our world, as we know, between COVID that we've been experiencing these last couple of months. But, it was at this point, it's almost like a 24-month process to write the book, get the book out, the marketplace. And
it was probably about a year, wasn't it, to develop it and sketch out all the content. And then, you got to have a lead time on printing and all.
Yeah, it took us, it was kind of an 18-month process for me between writing the book was about 6 months and then, going through edit with your publisher and getting it kind of nice and pretty as to what you put in. And then, obviously on the side of getting the cover and so on and so forth and doing all the
They got your schedule and then all of a sudden this pandemic hits sounds like right about the time you're getting ready to launch.
Yeah, it did. And, that's been unfortunate because bookstores have been closed and whatnot. But nonetheless, the book is about how to win in business and life. And so I just had to take it as a challenge on how to win in pushing marketing this book. So.
Well, before we talk a little about the book, what was it like growing up Earnhardt and being the daughter of racing royalty?
Yeah, I talk, the first 4 chapters of my book, which is really the reason I wanted to write my book was to share that story with the NASCAR fans because my dad was a very intimidating individual. And
a legend.
Yeah, and such was life growing up as his daughter he was very busy in the time of my childhood, making a name for himself and making a lot of sacrifices, which unfortunately was sacrifices that we as children, were on the receiving end of. Not so much dad time and not so much of what most people would call a normal life, right? 9-to-5 working parents come home for dinner, so on and so forth. We spent a lot of time with a lot of other people outside of our parents growing up. So I wanted to talk about that, which I do, in my book and the first 4 chapters. And then,
you kind of set the foundation because you got a unique perspective on things with this concept of winning in life and business. Your unique background gave you a unique perspective on this.
Yeah, I suppose so. Running Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR world that's what I've known. So the perspective of running this race team as a female, I've been, doing that for 15 years. And so, yeah, it's a very different perspective than the normal business world.
Well, Kelley, after getting your hands dirty in NASCAR, why did you decide to write a book?
Lucky for me, I don't have to get my hands dirty. But
Good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, like I said, I started out wanting to write about my relationship with my dad, which it morphed into kind of the business book, and just sharing the experiences that I've had as a woman in business in the NASCAR world with other people.
So did you find it like it was probably pretty easy to make the transition into taking these lessons you've learned and writing a book? Was it a pretty easy transition?
Yeah, basically, my writer, I say she was my helper that made everything look pretty. We sat down and just made an outline, and I had about 20 lessons that I felt like I could share with people. But we kind of narrowed them down and merged some things together and talked about, how they really permeate in my world and what were the most important things to me. So it was easy to transition. I mean, the thing that I love about this book is it really doesn't have anything to do with racing. It has to do with relationships. And the book is about lessons to win at relationships, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, a family, a friend. All the different things I talk about, and being authentic and approachable and honest and managing your emotions and all these different things are applicable no matter what.
Let's a little bit about your book. In your book, you give readers 9 lessons to win in life and in business. Let's talk about one that is particularly important for home business owners: to be authentic and approachable.
Yeah. So, to me, that was the most, one of the most important lessons, because growing up as Dale Earnhardt's daughter, you can imagine that because of the way people looked at my dad, we often maybe had to be or act or do a certain way because we had these legions of fans paying attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, that's kind of hard because you're just a kid. You don't know the adult world. You don't understand maybe why you have to do something, or why you can't throw a tantrum or whatever. And,
right. Did you ever feel like you were kind of like in a bubble, sort of?
Yeah, a little bit. And so, that authentic and approachability, I think, is very important. And, one of the things that was important to me in leading my own business of just connecting with people, knowing people, understanding people, just being who I am. And I really wasn't able to do that until later in life. After a lot of years of therapy, but
well, I imagine coming with the background you come from, with your family background, you had to make an extra effort to be approachable so that people would view you as approachable. Because I guess there's a natural tendency to be standoffish.
Yeah, the first thing that fans usually say in our NASCAR world is, "Oh my gosh, you're so down to earth." Like I'll go downstairs and talk to people in our store, or if we have fan days or whatever is happening, and they just can't believe that. I don't know what they think. Obviously, they think that we're somewhere different, but they say you're just so sweet and down to earth. And with my employees, it's awesome. I try to know families and names and what's going on in the world. If I talk to them on Monday and such was happening, I go back and check in with them on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And, to check in on what's transpired in the week and what was going on in the world. So, yeah, I think that's very important, to be approachable and to not be looked at as if. But
you sounds like you actually focus on it. You make a focus on it to make sure you do the things. It's very
important. Right. Yeah, it's very important to me.
So another lesson is to position for success. Kelley, how can a business owner better position themselves?
Gosh, you just positioning yourself for success there's a lot of different things that are important. I think, one of them is to kind of start early, to kind of put people in the right places. That's one of the things that has been something that I always challenge my managers to do is, do we have the right people doing the right thing? Because you can misuse people so easily, or you can hire someone that's a friend, or you can hire someone, based on your interaction with them, but maybe, you don't know the depths of the person or whatnot. So, kind of putting the right people in the right places, I think, is very important to position yourself for success. Hiring people wisely and training them wisely. Training is so important. I think that's something that we really forget about as business leaders, is you think you got the right candidate, they got a great looking.
Yeah, and you know what it is, and then you assume that person knows what it is too, and then, there could be a breakdown there.
Yeah, sure.
How about planning? Do you feel planning helps at all for, positioning yourself for success?
I mean, absolutely. Definitely planning is important. You can't really go through your day if you didn't have a plan on how you were going to, start your day and things that you want to check off. I'm a list person, so I like to, check lists and do that. So
if you seem like you don't start off with a plan, then, you get swept up by what's urgent. And you never get to what's important.
Yeah, that's true, and you can easily be distracted, and be pulled away from even your plan. So if you don't have a plan, that's even a worse thing to be a part of on a daily basis, is to, be in so many different directions. So I definitely think having a plan is important, and it gives you something to compare back to. What did you accomplish? How did it turn out? Did you get done what you wanted to get done, and put something in place?
You always say, hear about, you got to measure, what are the results, and compare this and that. So, seems like a huge challenge for home business owners is to find that balance. Kelley, how can you better balance work with your life?
That's something that has been something for me. I've not worked out of my home until this COVID environment, and really setting and managing expectations, like with my kids and my spouse, I think was very important. Having a dedicated space where I could go work and not have the craziness of home. It's been different because we've had our kids home and we've been teaching them in the midst of this, but really kind of setting out the expectations of, when mom's going to work, when she can, when we're going to do school, or what's going to be, what the day is going to look like, was really important for me. I know, just if I had to work from home full time, that dedicated space would be just imperative to not have the distraction.
I guess it's important for you to set boundaries then to help with that balance.
Yeah, I think it is. I am. I get a lot of my people asking about working from home and whatnot, and I think managing those distractions and having a plan for what's work going to look like for the day, and then what other things am I going to get done at home during the day, and kind of mapping those things out so that you can stay true to accomplishing things for your work and your business, as well as managing your household, because I could see where they could really merge into each other.
A lot of chaos. Well, how did you feel you managed that transition with the pandemic hitting and then going to home to work? How did you like that? Did it work out making that transition?
Yeah, it was okay. The beauty of it was, for me, is that my kids actually got to see me working, which, they really didn't understand, okay, what's mom go to work and do all day? And why are you having so many phone calls? And why do you have so many meetings? And so that, for them to be able to see that, was really cool. But I made the transition pretty good. But I think it was only because I set the expectations from the beginning of the day and said, this is what the day is going to look like for me.
Interesting question. We're starting to ask people now that made that transition. Are you, when things break up, are you going to work more home-based, or you see it going back pretty much to the office? A lot of companies we're talking about, they're going to still maintain some portion of, working from home and kind of keep that balance. I don't know.
Yeah. We, from our standpoint, being kind of a smaller business, collaboration is so important to me and what we do. I mean, we race on the racetrack and you put cars together, but the marketing aspect of what we do from the business office is so important, that collaborating with people and finding those synergies, I think, is really important to be together. And so I'm not sure working from home would allow us to really accomplish that in the same way. So I think it's important to be back in the office in our situation, but still, we do a lot of different things in trying to manage that home work life balance, because we travel so much. Our NASCAR industry is on the road 33 weekends a year. Yeah.
I mean, working from a hotel room or the home office, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of the same.
Truck trailers, you name it. Yeah. A lot of different environments.
Well, Kelley, thanks so much for sharing with us today. What is the one takeaway in your book that you will hope will resonate the most with readers? I've said throughout the process of writing this book and talking about it, is if you find one nugget that you can, grab a hold on,
to me, self-help books and reading about things is just really focusing on something. Start small and take a little chunk and then build on it, because you can get so much information and get easily overwhelmed and stuff. But for me, probably leading from the heart is one of the best things. And I think that's really appropriate in today's world is, if you're leading from the heart and you're doing the right thing and, just in this environment for us from a COVID standpoint of my people have been at my top priority, and that comes from my heart. I wanted to take care of them. I don't want them to have any additional fear and anxiety. There's enough going on in the world with that. So leading from the heart is really important to me.
I think that kind of ties into what you were talking about earlier with being authentic. And, that comes through with leading from the heart then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Kelley Earnhardt Miller, thank you for being such a great guest today on the Home Business Podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. To learn more about Kelley Earnhardt Miller and her book, Drive, 9 Lessons to Win in a Business and in Life, visit kelleyearnhardtdrive.com or our podcast website for more information on guests.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and at our website, homebusinessmag.com.
Visit the website for information on advertising, subscribe to our newsletter, read our new book, The Home-Based Business Startup Guide. For more information, visit homebusinessmag.com and the expo at homebusinessexpo.com.
I'm Richard Captain Henderson saying anchors away.
We'll talk with you soon. Until then,
make it a great home-based biz day.